The Barbados Road Safety Association has launched a graduated license system primarily targeting first-time drivers still in school. Held under Safe Roads Barbados, a branch of the association, the 9-week program aims to reduce road accidents by 50%, especially those caused by teens. President Charmaine Roland Bowen says the organization has approached some secondary schools about enrolling students in the comprehensive program, which includes vision testing and driving under adverse conditions.
The first stage is the permit stage, in which you apply for your permit at 16. You hold this permit for 6 months. Within the 6 months, you are allowed to drive, but only under supervised condition with a driver instructor or with a family member who's instructing you to drive. Then you go on, at the end of that, you take a test. And providing you pass that test, you go on to stage 2, which is for a year and a half, which would be like 18 months. And during that time, you are allowed to drive, but under low-risk situations only.
Ms. Roland Bowen added that the Road Safety Association is still lobbying government to make education for new drivers or repeat traffic offenders mandatory. She believes it can complement the much-touted demerit system yet to come on stream. Ms. Roland Bowen says support so far has come from key stakeholders.
We are pleased to say that a number of insurance companies across the island have come on board and are working with us to offer insurance discounts and, in some cases, special considerations as an incentive to persons who take part in the program, providing they qualify for such award. By qualifying, we mean passing all of our exams with a grade of 80% or above.
It is estimated that half of the traffic accidents recorded are caused by teens who've been driving for less than 2 years. Exercise more caution and reduce your speed limit when approaching roundabouts. This was one of the suggestions coming from Assistant Superintendent of the Traffic Division, Leon Blades. He was reacting to concerns by members of the public about daily confusion near the roundabout by Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic and the Wildy Shell Station.
The entrance to the businesses may have to be rear line to allow you to go as though you're going to the CDB and then make a right turn. Right. It may make more sense that way because it's
safer.
Because if you're coming up the hill and you right in the worst part, then to switch over to go across to, I think it is Decor, it means that you have to cross over the lane. It means you have to be very slowly, or you have to do something that we haven't even mentioned, the aspect of indicating in the roundabout, indicating or leaving, because I don't think we are part of our culture understands the concept of indicating in the roundabout, to leave in the roundabout, or to show that you're switching lane. If you do that, you can be safer because the person they know what you're doing. They actually can reduce their speed. But if you go back to the area of coming from the CDB, going westward, sometimes unless there are pedestrians on the crossing, you really can't get it from. You're struggling.
As the constituency councils continue to respond to the needs of those in their communities, the St. Michael East Constituency Council has come to the aid of the Grantley Prescott Primary School. The council today donated several fans to the school. Member of Parliament for the area, Kenneth Best, was also on hand for the donation and encouraged the students to take care of the fans and their school.
So I want to, at this stage, encourage you and urge you to take not only good care of these gifts, but also of all the property of the school. And just to remember that the government of this Barbados provides free secondary education and tertiary education from the time you're born to the time you go to the grave. And I want to implore all of you students to, when you come to school on morning, to ensure that when you leave here, you leave with at least something that you can take back home. And when you leave the school, that you can make yourself worthwhile citizens.
Chairman of the council, Lennox Chandler, said they had no problem responding to the school's request.
The time we received the application for assistance, as I was telling Ms. Abrams this morning, immediately I said this is something we have to do because I know the schools are very hot especially at the height of summer in the months of August and September and stuff. It's very hot in the schools, and you really need the fans to cool down the children and keep them comfortable.
Lawmakers in St. Kitts have voted to repeal the 135-year-old Evidence Act, allowing DNA electronic evidence to be admissible in court. The St. Kitts and Nevis National Assembly voted unanimously to replace the Evidence Act, originally Act No. 3 of 1876, with the Evidence Act 2011. Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs Patrice Nisbet said that while the law had been amended several times, it was more prudent to replace the entire act because of the extensive amendment that was needed. The state of emergency and 5-hour curfew imposed in Trinidad and Tobago since August 21st will remain in force. That's according to Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. She says law enforcement officials informed her cabinet that they needed more time to deal with the crime situation there. The SOE was extended by 3 months to December 7th by Parliament, but Persad-Bissessar hinted at the possibility of it being removed within the 3-month period. She told reporters that the cabinet was briefed yesterday by security heads, Commissioner of Police Dwayne Gibbs, Deputy Commissioner Mervyn Richardson, Brigadier General Kenrick Maharaj, and others on what has transpired so far since the state of emergency. She said government would continue to review this decision from time to time. The main opposition St. Lucia Labour Party has promised a $100 million EC job creation program should it form the next government. The pledge was the centerpiece of what SLP leader Dr. Kenny Anthony said was the party's first policy statement on unemployment in advance of general elections expected before year-end, but which are due by March next year. The party unveiled a raft of proposals for business tax cuts, tax holidays and grants, along with plans for 2 new job creation agencies and a capital works project on Wednesday. Leaders of the main opposition People's United Party in Belize, John Briceño, has resigned. The resignation was made during a central party council. Briceño had assumed leadership of the PUP from former Prime Minister Said Musa. No further details are available at this time.
Good evening, I'm Kent Jerson with the Business Report. Local businessman and entrepreneur Raul Branca believes more can and should be done to help small businesses. He made the point at the Democratic Labour Party's weekly lunchtime lecture. Mr. Branca said given its importance, the small business sector should be given more targeted assistance.
If it is fully recognized that this sector has more potential for growth than probably any other, and if the leaders in the private and banking sectors collaborate with government, they can come up with a package mix of moratoria on debt, incentives for additional employment, innovation in new products, especially for export, new business starts, and a number of other things that can be done. Small business, therefore, I think, has the ability to rebound and initiate a new growth pattern.
Mr. Branca also put this suggestion on the table.
I think that the small business sector should be talked with to look at the many buildings owned by government that are sitting idle in disrepair. Maybe the Small Business Association and the BMA would help government in bringing them back into productivity.
In other news, Deloitte Consulting Limited is the judicial manager for yet another financially troubled Clico International Life Insurance Company. This time is the CIL's operation in Dominica. Deloitte, represented by Oliver Jordan and Patrick Toppin, assumed the responsibility after the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in Dominica recognized the Barbados High Court order of April 14th, which appointed Deloitte as the judicial manager. Policyholders have been told that the operations and coverage of the company's existing policies remain in effect as long as the premiums are paid. Deloitte also says the company's branch office in Dominica remains open and policyholders can continue to make premium payments in the normal manner. A look at the stocks now. Here's a summary of today's trading on some of the region's exchanges.